Hello everyone, welcome to Man Cave Media. On this channel, I like to talk about beer, sneakers, tech, and toys. If you're new here, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Also, you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram at media.mancave and on Facebook and Twitter at mancavemedia.org. So today I'm replacing the case of my main office computer. Let's check it out. So recently with the upgrade of my HTPC computer, I created a problem that I didn't think at the time was actually going to be a problem. With my HTPC, I used to use that computer to also add movies to my Plex server. And I did that via Blu-Ray burner. And I figured that I would just keep the Blu-ray burner in the old Alienware PC and just do that stuff out in the garage. Continue to rip DVDs to just out in the garage and then just transfer them to my Plex file share via the network. But then as soon as I tried doing that, I realized that there was a ton of stuff in my way out in the garage that I would have to move every time I wanted to access that machine. And so it just turned out to be a problem. First world problem for sure, but a problem. And so I decided to change the case of my rig in my office so I would be able to install the Blu-ray drive out here and be able to rip the DVDs out here in my office. So I really like Cooler Master. It's the case that I have for my rig currently. So I decided to stick with that brand. And I went with this Silencio S600. This guy here. So other than making my motherboard look comically small because of its size, this does accommodate a full ATX board, but I of course have a micro ATX. Other than that, this case will more than suit my needs. It only has one external drive bay, which is all that I need. And I mean, plenty of space for cable management, and I think it's going to look really good. Also, while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead, I got the appropriate brackets for the cooler that came with my new Ryzen 7 3800X. If you remember from a previous video that I did where I upgraded my CPU and my RAM in my office rig, I didn't have the appropriate brackets to use the cooler that came with the 3800X, so I was using the cooler that was included with my 2800, which I didn't really see an issue with it, and I mean thermals were fine. So I kind of just stuck with it, but then a friend of mine gave me the correct brackets that I needed. And so I'm going to go ahead and swap that out too while I'm doing this. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, so that went as well as could be expected. I mentioned, some of you might notice that there was a ton of footage that's missing. There's kind of like a large gap where you see me doing something and then it jumps ahead and I've got a lot more completed. As I mentioned in previous videos, I am currently in between action cameras at the moment. I learned the hard way. The old saying goes, if you buy cheap, you buy twice. Well, I'm going to be buying twice. My action camera that I had broke on me and it was a cheap one. But what can you do? So I've been using my iPad and my cell phone to do shots like this. And while I was filming, the battery on my iPad died unexpectedly. And so I lost a bunch of footage, or rather a bunch of footage didn't get recorded. And so my apologies, there's a lot of stuff missing. Also, you notice during the build that I did not install the external drive, which was the whole point of doing this. There's a design flaw with the power supply being mounted so low in the rear of the case. When you run the cables up through cable management, the power cable for the external drive doesn't reach all the way up to the top. And so I had to order an extension from Amazon, and that took a little while for it to get here to me. And so now that is in. I just didn't get that on film. But it's in and it functions, and the only drawback to it is you can tell in the footage that I can't quite get the cable management as clean as I would like using that extension. Because even with the extension, it's pretty, like, it barely reaches, even with the extension. And also, with the SATA cables that I had on hand, I don't have one long enough to go behind the cable management. I don't have one long enough to go behind through the cable management and then out to plug into the motherboard, so it's just kind of a direct shot and not quite as clean as I would like, but it functions. And so other than that, I mean, I love the case. It's nice and big. It looks great on my desk, and it's serving my needs. So I highly recommend it. It is, as the name implies, very quiet. You barely notice that it's on. When I'm rendering a video or when I'm playing a game and the fans ramp up, you can hear them kind of, but nothing like my previous case, which was basically open on all sides. This case is very different in comparison to that, and it's very quiet. So, I mean, it's a great case. I highly recommend it for anybody that's looking to do a PC build or upgrade their current case. Now all I need to do is buy a larger motherboard so it doesn't look so comically small, but we'll save that one for a future video. All right, that's all I have for this one. Thanks again for stopping by. If you enjoyed it, please smash that like button. I hope you have a great afternoon, and like always, thank you for watching.